And welcome to Kearney Live. We are having a lot of fun here in the studio. If you are not familiar with this show, we have not been on since June of year 26, but June 26th. It's been well over a month since Kearney Live has been on the air. So welcome back to the studio. My co-hosts, Rich Kolb, Gerri Spencer, and of course, our producer extraordinaire, Brian Watts.
Hi, guys. I got to ask, is it hot enough for you?
Oh, good. Yeah.
That's right.
Definitely is for Stacy.
I love it. I love it. Just a real quick shout out to our friend Lynn Broughton. We are thinking about you and your family and holding you very close in our hearts. So, as we move into the news, Brian stole my thunder. I was going to talk about the heat.
Oh my goodness.
We can still talk about it.
How are you guys dealing with the heat?
Oh gosh, you know, today we were out and about doing errands and a variety of things, and I had the two granddaughters with me, and I have a black vehicle with a black interior.
Yep.
And even though it is leather, I can tell you it was crazy hot. I had two little girls who were like, no, we can't sit there. So you crank the air, you wait outside the car for a few minutes, let the air cool down the car seats so that it is acceptable temperature for bare little legs that are in shorts.
Yep.
So I feel for everyone out there, every parent dragging children around to the grocery store and different things.
There you go. Rich, do you like the heat?
I'm just praying for a return to January.
Slow your horses there, Rich.
It can't come too soon for me.
Oh my goodness.
That's really that pendulum swing.
Okay, all right. Well, next up, I was going to update everybody. If you do not want to know the Olympic medal count, then plug your ears for just a moment, but I was going to give us a real quick update on the medals. The United States leads with 30 total medals, with France just right behind us with 26 medals, and then the next closest country is China with 19. So my husband asked me the other night, what has happened to China and Japan? They used to dominate, and now, I don't know.
Do we know how many are gold medals?
Yes, we do. Let's see, United States has only 5 are gold medals, 13 are silver, 12 are bronze.
We are rocking it.
Yeah.
And I mean, so many things. Rugby. This is first time ever in history that the United States has won a rugby medal.
There you
Wow.
I mean, so many big things happening at this year's Olympics. But we'll talk about that later.
Right. Men and women's gymnastics are back on top again, so we're rocking and rolling. So, Rich.
Yes.
What would you like to talk about next?
Well, I think we were going to get into some political matters here.
Oh, boy, okay.
Okay, well, Missouri has a dizzying array of candidates running for governor in 2024. So we all need to do our homework
Yes.
Before we vote on August 6th. If you're concerned about taxes, illegal aliens, foreign ownership of Missouri farmland, the Second Amendment.
We'll get into that next.
Okay.
Okay, sounds great. Stick with us.
Hey everyone, Brian Watts here from 102.7 FM, and you asked for it, and we're doing it. 102.7 FM will be broadcasting Kearney home softball games this year, along with our popular football game broadcasts. Our Bulldog sports broadcasts are ranked among our highest listening audiences. Our broadcasts have a variety of sponsorship opportunities to increase your business exposure across this great audience, and we are the best value for your advertising budget. You can secure your sponsorship today by contacting me at 816-826-1111. Let's get you involved with the Bulldog Radio Network this season and get your message heard on game night.
We're going to start over again here. If you're concerned about taxes, illegal aliens, foreign ownership of Missouri farmland, the Second Amendment, what kids are being taught in public schools, voter integrity, and the state's future, carefully consider who you choose from among 9 Republican, 5 Democrat, and 1 Libertarian candidates in the primary.
Okay.
And I have a preference. I was fortunate enough to attend a meeting here a couple weeks ago, and some of the candidates appeared there.
Oh.
So one of them, Bill Eigel, was there, and I have to give him a lot of credit. He's got up there in front of the audience for an hour and a half, and he took all comers as far as questions. He never missed a beat, never saw any hesitation on his part, and he stated his case very forcefully on every issue. So
Okay.
it was kind of refreshing to see that. I don't watch any political commercials on TV if I
No.
can help it, but I just happened to see one night with him in it, and the statements in the TV commercial were identical to what he said in the private meeting. So that was nice to see.
Interesting.
So I'm pretty well convinced he's my candidate for governor.
All right. Who are the
So-
other candidates? Do you know?
Tell us
Oh,
who all
God.
the candidates are.
I didn't bring on a list of them.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
on the monitor. Can you see
Oh,
it, Rich?
gosh,
No.
there we go.
Yeah,
I can't see
read
that either, Brian.
Yeah.
Can you tell us who they are?
Jay Ashcroft,
Okay.
Bill Eigel, Darren Grant, Jeremy Gundel, Mike Kehoe, Daryl McClanahan, Robert Olson, Amber Thornson, and Chris Wright for the Republican primary. And for the Democratic primary, Cheryl Gladney, Mike Hanna, Hollis Laster, Eric Morrison, and Crystal Quaid.
Okay. And is there an independent
Libertarian?
or libertarian?
I didn't know they didn't have a libertarian, but they had a independent, which was Larry Fenoid, I believe.
The ballot I had a libertarian.
Did it?
I can't
Okay.
remember the name, though. So.
Interesting.
I don't know. This was from what's the state voting website? You
Okay.
guys know?
Well, I got a sample ballot,
Oh,
so
did
that's
you?
where I
Okay.
got it from.
Secretary of State.
Yeah,
So, wow.
No, it was
15
votes.
candidates.
yeah, that's
No.
Yeah, there's a
or something.
lot
kind of
candidates.
overwhelming, actually.
And I
you
only
know.
recognized about 3 of those names.
Right.
Speaking of overwhelming, when you're trying to choose candidates, this stack, which is intense
Yes.
and it's large, is from my mailbox today. And may I say that I don't choose my candidates through all of these mailings.
That's right.
Thank goodness.
I find the mailings, both Republican and Democrat, to be much more negative. I am not about the negativity.
Right.
Don't tell me the bad things you're thinking about your opponents. Instead, tell me the good things that you want to do for me, my family, my community,
Right.
my state.
Right.
So, boy, how do you narrow it down? Research is key. But even there, you have to be very careful where you go, because depending on which site you're at, they skew it just a little. There's enough
Yeah.
truth in there, but there's also, so that's the hard thing. Where do you go for your
Well, that
information?
Ballotpedia seems to be fairly straightforward.
Ballotpedia.
Ballotpedia, it's
Okay.
called.
I think
You have
that's
to go
where I
on the
got that
internet.
graphic.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they pretty much state the facts, you know, on the candidates' backgrounds. I looked up a few, and now, of course, on the candidate backgrounds, the candidate's allowed to submit a resume or a bio. So obviously, they're going to skew it in their favor. But as far as their stances on the issues, you can get a pretty clear picture where they stand on it. I think we're all in agreement that negative advertising in political campaigns is not the way to go. But unfortunately, I've heard this is a common refrain that I've heard for many, many years. And among the political class that do this for a living, they claim the negative works. And that's why they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anybody you talk to is going to say they don't like the negative. They just want to hear you to put your stances forth on the issues
Right.
and leave the other guy out of it. But every election year, we have to go through the same thing.
We just
So,
saw a commercial. I typically don't watch the commercials, Rich, either,
Yeah.
like you said. But I think we were watching the Olympics or something the other night, and a political commercial came on for a Missouri candidate, and they were accusing him of such and such, and it was one of the candidates I was familiar with, and I was listening, and when it finished, I looked at my husband and I said, I don't think that's true. I'll have to do my research, but I don't think that was true. So it's really misleading.
Yeah, you have to be a bit fearful of how many people really make a decision based on those little clips they see on TV or what you're talking about, Gerri. Those things just bombard you in the mail.
They
You know,
do.
even if you're ready to throw it out, you might take a glimpse at it and see
Right,
something, and that sticks in your
It
mind.
does. It does.
And hopefully, too many people aren't going to go down that route.
And
but-
we're getting a
yeah.
lot of it this year for some
Yeah.
reason. You know what I've done in years past is I'll take these pieces and I'll look, like this one is, Doug Ritchie is on the wrong side, his side, whatever that means. So I look to see who sent it and I go, not voting for them.
Well, that's one way
so
to
I
do it.
eliminate it
Yeah.
that way sometimes.
Well, I just
How many
counted. There were
pieces?
10 of these.
In
10
one day?
pieces in one day.
How many texts
And
did you
on
get today?
Monday and Tuesday, I threw away a pile also. Oh, don't even get
I've gotten
me
like
started
5
on
texts so
text.
far today.
How about robocalls?
Oh,
Oh, I haven't even been answering those.
Don't
yeah.
you even talk to me
I
about
scroll
those.
past those. The phone
Yeah.
has been going nuts.
Yeah, people, you do not have to answer all of the phone
No.
calls.
Our
Yeah.
house phone, thankfully, it comes up, it pops up on our television, and so we can see right away. And it's like, nope, not getting off the couch for that one.
We had to unplug ours. I told you about that. We had to
Yes.
unplug our house phone.
Oh my
We-
gosh.
There's nothing we could do to stop it. And it was going, it would start around lunchtime and go for 4 hours, every 15 minutes, and then pick up again at dinner time for another 4 hours.
Good gosh.
Every 15 minutes. And every time I tried to block it, it would come back instantly and ring again. So I just yanked them all out of the
Yeah.
wall socket. I couldn't take it
Thank
anymore.
goodness election, it will be here and then gone, and you can plug your telephone back in.
I'm not even sure if these were political things, though. I wasn't
You're on
convinced.
some list.
Oh, I'm on some bad list, that's for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm going to, there's supposed to be some number you can call in Missouri. If
yeah.
anybody knows that number, please call and give it to us.
I
will
don't
you?
know how many times I've
Yeah.
called that
And it
number. I
doesn't
don't
call.
work. Yeah, that's what I was
The
afraid
no
of.
call, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have put our name on that a couple times. And it works for a while
little
when
while.
you do it, but
Until-
it does fade.
until
Yeah, they
voting
find
season
a
comes
new
around.
way around it, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's not good.
Today I could tell the 5 texts I got, they all came through at the exact same time, so I knew that some
Yeah.
service somewhere launched all of them all at this.
Yeah,
Okay.
these were back to back. They were different numbers showing different cities, but one would ring, and as soon as the one got done ringing, the next one would
Next
come
one would
right
ring.
after it. So,
And here's the thing that I think is like, wow, is that it is the same company that is doing it for the Republicans and the Democrats, doing all of these, and they're sending them out. To me, that's like an arms dealer who's selling it to both sides of the war. Hello. Don't do that.
don't
Choose
we
a
do that
side.
with Egypt and Israel?
Oh gosh. Well, Rich, I want to circle back around.
Okay.
Would you give us 2 or 3 of your top tips on how to research these candidates?
Well, there are a couple different organizations out there, and this is a mouthful, so I'm going to read it off my piece of paper.
Okay.
This is called the Federated Republican Women's Club of Clay County. They held the forum that I
Okay.
went to, and they continually do this. They invite all the candidates. Some turn them down, but most show up. And I think that's the best place because you can really grill these candidates there. It was no hold barred when these people went after the candidates. And I think you can learn a lot about the candidate that, when they're under pressure and they have an audience that's not there just to take their party line, that tells you a lot about the candidate.
Yeah.
So that, if you can do that, I would do that. I was going to make this my final thought. Am I allowed to say this anyway?
Sure, go ahead.
But if you, the group, I have some contact information for the group here. If you want to go to, they have a Facebook page, or you can call Natalie Scholl, and her number is 816-590-9479. Their email is clay, C-O-R-E-P, women@gmail.com. And she does a tremendous amount of research on candidates. So
On all candidates, not just Republican, all
She tends
candidates.
to do it on the Republicans, but she does it on the opponents too.
Okay.
Because she has to know where they stand.
Right.
Else she can't make informed statements about the candidates. So I would highly recommend that. And also, just because it has women in the club name doesn't matter. Men are involved as associate members. So,
Having been a local candidate in prior years, I will say that they are very diligent, and they also do local elections.
yes, they do, and that's where they're very
I
helpful.
have turned in stuff
Very
too.
helpful.
They're
Yes.
wonderful.
All right, well, we're going to continue our discussion about the upcoming primaries, and we are going to keep our eyes on the prize as we go into the home stretch of the political campaigns. So we're going to discuss that next, right here on Kearney Live.
The Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Whether you're looking for relief from everyday aches and pains or looking to maintain a healthy, active lifestyle, Kearney Family Chiropractic Center can help. Dr. Mark Strathman has over 27 years of experience and treats the whole person physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center is taking appointments now at 816-628-6738. The office is located at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney, and their website is kearneyfamilychiro.com. Experience the power of wellness at Kearney Family Chiropractic Center.
Kearney Trust Company is a partner for success. Information, speed, and convenience are all valuable commodities in our fast-paced world, and Kearney Trust focuses on trying to fill the needs of all of their customers, whether they are running a company or a household. Kearney Trust, with 2 locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper, or on the web at kearneytrust.com. Kearney Trust Company, our town, your bank, member FDIC.
More reliable power means more of what you love. You expect your lights and appliances to turn on at the flip of a switch, and so does Platte Clay Electric Cooperative. That's why Platte Clay is working hard to make power more reliable in the Northland. We exist for one purpose: to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about their plan to reduce outages across the Northland, visit www.pcec.coop/reliability. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
And welcome back to Kearney Live. With less than 100 days remaining, we suddenly find ourselves in a very different presidential campaign on so many historic fronts. We have Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. As Dr. Janice Ellis eloquently argues, the welfare of Missouri is deeply connected to the broader trajectory of America. With the upcoming presidential election, we are at a pivotal moment that could define the future of our nation and our state. The stakes are high, and the decisions we make will have long-lasting implications for our democracy, values, and the well-being of our communities. If you are unaware of the positions and proposed policies of both of these candidates, or I'm going to say parties, there is no excuse. You can no longer afford not to research their histories and find out who they are and what they are about. In recent weeks, we have had many opportunities to witness the words and actions of both candidates as they vie for the most important elected office in this country, if not, indeed, the world. The real question is, are we, the people, clear about what is at stake? The prize, which is selecting who is most qualified to govern and achieve what will be in the best interest of America's future, and by definition, in the best interest of Missouri's future. So I wanted to ask the two of you, in the midst of all the political noise and polarization, which we just talked about in our last segment, what do you believe is the most significant issue at stake in the upcoming elections, both for Missouri and the nation?
Well, I think you'd have to answer that two-part, because I think for the average Missourian, it's going to be economic related. They're concerned about how far their paycheck's going to go.
Yep.
They're concerned about if there's going to be tax increases. So it's usually, generally, it's pocketbook issues. This time around, we have several other issues that are extremely important. Since we've had a wide open border for 4 years, or almost 4 years now, that's very top on all people's minds. Mm-hmm. That also affects the economy negatively.
True.
If you're bringing in 8 million people that are receiving public benefits, then that's going to be a drain on the Treasury. So I think that's important to people. Foreign policy issues right now, if you watch the news today, you see what's going on in the Middle East. We're a big supporter of Israel, which I think we should be. But there's a lot of saber rattling going on with Iran, and even Turkey, of all places, claiming they're going to invade Israel if they don't do this or that. So, you know, when it's peacetime, it's always economic issues. If it turns over to wartime, where we're actually involved in the war, then you're going to see a whole different orientation on as far as people's issues, I think.
Good point. Gerri, thoughts?
I am a bit of a mixed bag. Being of the generation that fought for women's reproductive rights, having had, I think we've had this discussion before, but having had friends that have had children with serious life-threatening issues. I had a friend who was expecting a child that had no brain. Some of those things, she had a terrible time finding access to an abortion because they were told that it would not survive. Anyway, I think that women still need to have some control over their bodies. If you've been raped, if you've been some of those things, I think you need to have that choice. I also believe in the right to life. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I'm a real mixed bag, but I fought hard for women back in the 60s and 70s. So I don't want to take steps backwards, and I feel like we kind of have. For me, that is a key topic as a woman. Having grandchildren. Another topic that is key to me is access to affordable daycare. I know a lot of people that have more than one child, and if you have 2 or 3 children, to get quality daycare for them, unless you have a really amazing job, by the time it's said and done, you're working for $3-4 an hour. That's what you're going to take home after childcare expenses. So that is something that to me is very key for a lot of people, single parents, to have access to affordable daycare. Immigrants, I also do not think that the border needs to be open, but is immigration a good thing? Oh, heck yes. My great-grandparents were immigrants. My husband's came from Germany and England. Most people I know, their parents were immigrants, unless you're Native American. So immigration is a good thing, but they need to do it the right way. They need to take the time to learn about America, go through the process, get the piece of paper that says, yes, pay taxes here, do it right. We'd love to have you. Those are some of my key topics.
There we go. So I almost feel like we got from Rich more of the federal presidential topics, and I feel like, Gerri, you covered maybe the Missouri topics really well. Rich, how would you say, because the way things go with the presidency does trickle down to our state, can you put words to explain how important that is to know how the federal side affects the state side?
Well, if we stick with the issue of immigration, that's an obvious one, because technically that's a federal role to regulate the borders. You've seen a lot of conflict with Texas because the Biden administration did not enforce immigration laws. Texas has tried to do that on its own, and it's continually sued. So that's a classic case of where the federal government really is overpowering the states in that regard. A lot of these issues, like I kind of have a question for Gerri on this one. What would be your solution to affordable daycare? I mean, what are you proposing? How are you going to solve that problem?
I have not personally come up with a solution, which is why, as we were saying about these flyers, instead of the negativity, tell me something that you could do or how you would do it. I would like to see some of these candidates offer some solutions to what are real problems that our families today face. Let's
But I mean, do you see that as a government responsibility to pay for
I think that
daycare?
They definitely have a hand in it. Maybe it is less regulation of daycares.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't know, but right now it's crazy expensive. I know people that easily pay well over $1,000 a month just for one child.
Yeah, I have heard that.
And imagine if you have 3 children and then you have a minimum wage job. Once you start doing the math, they're maybe taking home $2 an hour by the time they've paid daycare for those children. And then you add in what it costs you to go back and forth to work, your gas, clothing. Maybe it's a uniform. Maybe you're in an office and you need to look nice. Sometimes those numbers just don't weigh out. So how do we help them?
Yeah, I'm just a little skeptical
Take care
as far
of themselves.
as politicians claiming they're going to solve that. I mean, there's only one way, really, realistically, they could claim that they're going to solve it, and that's taxpayer money.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm afraid I'm not a fan of that. I mean, that would just, that system would be just open to so much abuse.
Yeah.
So that's why I was curious whether you had something in mind, because I don't have a solution for it. You know, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
No question
I
about
know
it.
it is a topic on Capitol at Missouri, the Missouri State Legislature. I know that the Missouri Chamber has been lobbying for help with child care.
Have they?
I don't remember what.
I did not know that.
I know that's the issue. I don't know what the solution is, but it has been a hot topic at the state capitol.
Good.
So
I am glad to hear that. That, you know,
Yeah, I'd be
You
really
made my little
interested in
heart
hearing
happy.
what the Chamber's solution is.
I'll
Yeah.
have to find it and send it to
Yeah, that'd be neat.
you. Well, Gerri, what do we have coming up next?
Well, have any of you been watching the 2024 Olympics, the Summer Olympics in Paris?
Of course.
When we come back, we'll talk about that.
Okay. Stay with us.
Kearney Trust Company is a partner for success. Information, speed, and convenience are all valuable commodities in our fast-paced world, and Kearney Trust focuses on trying to fill the needs of all of their customers, whether they are running a company or a household. Kearney Trust, with 2 locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper, or on the web at kearneytrust.com. Kearney Trust Company, our town, your bank, member FDIC.
Electric cooperatives are different. We have a sense of pride in our local community and support the people who live here. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative supports local schools, takes an active role in economic development, and works hard to keep costs down for its members. We exist for one purpose, to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about how Platte Clay Electric Cooperative is working to achieve that mission, visit www.pcec.coop. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
The Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Whether you're looking for relief from everyday aches and pains or looking to maintain a healthy, active lifestyle, Kearney Family Chiropractic Center can help. Dr. Mark Strathman has over 27 years of experience and treats the whole person physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center is taking appointments now at 816-628-6738. The office is located at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney, and their website is kearneyfamilychiro.com. Experience the power of wellness at Kearney Family Chiropractic Center.
And welcome back. This is the 3rd time that Paris has hosted the Olympics. It's been a roller coaster ride of highs and some lows, from the torchbearers to the opening ceremonies and on to all the new sports like skateboarding, plus the existing sports like gymnastics. In this age of technology and easy access, do the Olympics still resonate around the world and here at home like they used to? Let's take a look at this video from National Geographic.
The Olympic torch burns once more with the pomp of the ages.
All right. So after watching that, have we gotten too far from the original spirit of the Olympics and the pomp and circumstance? Or are the newly added sports bringing it all up to date? Should celebrities like Snoop Dogg even be a part of our opening ceremonies? Do we have any comments on opening ceremonies, new sports, the torchbearers?
I have a question. I'd like to know the significance of that opening ceremony. Who was that designed to appeal to? Does anybody know the answer to that? I know who it wasn't appealing to.
Well, here, I want to speak to that. So I was watching the opening ceremony at home. I have an affinity for Paris. I decorate my home in French style. I don't know what it is about it. I love it. And so the fact that the Olympics were here, I was so excited. I knew they were going to try to use all of the different places and the greatest features of France and Paris. And they didn't disappoint whatsoever as far as that part goes. And I was watching, I watched the torch come in on the ship, 4 or 5 days before the Olympics started, before opening ceremonies. Yeah. That was so cool, tying together the old and the new. Watching the opening ceremonies, just the way they did everything so differently, bringing the athletes in on boats on the River Seine and having all of the entertainment along the edges of the river and on the rooftops even. I mean, there is not a stage that they did not use. The bridges, the banks, the air. I mean, it was spectacular. It was a spectacular opening ceremony from the standpoint of seeing France, or seeing Paris, seeing the art, all of the famous locations and things, seeing Paris's love for drama and fashion. And I mean, they gave a nod to Les Mis. I mean, can you tell? I loved it. There were so many things I loved about it. At some point, my dogs needed to go outside. I took them for a walk, like I always do, at 9 o'clock. I came back in, and I finished watching the Olympics, and I loved every minute of it. And the next thing I know, I am seeing all of this hubbub on Facebook about the Last Supper and offending Christians and how horrible the opening ceremonies were. And I'm like, what? I am a Christian. I was loving this. There may be a couple of elements that I was like, okay, whatever. But I never saw the Last Supper scene, so I was not offended and didn't know what everybody was talking about. I absolutely, other than that, because I didn't see it, loved opening ceremonies, period. Now, I have nothing to say about the offensive part because I didn't see it. I think God shielded it from me. Thank you, Lord, because you knew I wanted to love it. So
I think that Stacy is on the payroll of the French Department of Tourism.
Not at all. I wish I was.
That's the only conclusion I can come to. I'd say this, that it was recently announced today that the Prime Minister of Slovakia is boycotting the closing ceremony. He felt that it was insulting to the world's 2.4 billion Christians. The French art director admitted that the ceremony, or the so-called Last Supper ceremony, was supposed to be some form of a pagan ceremony. So my question is, how much of a constituency do we have for pagans in the world in this day and age? If they were trying to appeal to pagans, I have to really wonder how successful that was. I think it's pretty common nowadays that mocking Christianity is something that's almost acceptable in the West, especially in this country nowadays.
The Bible tells us that's going to happen. You know, that comes with the territory.
Well, it does, but you can still complain about it if you want to.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
So you know, I'm not a devout Christian in the sense that I see offense in everything that appears, but it seems to me that it's become a fairly regular feature of our society in this day and age, and I can see why people would be offended by it. I mean, people read what they want to into different things. I don't think there was anything tactful about it. I think with the glowing description you gave, Stacy, I think they could have done without that aspect
They could have,
of it,
absolutely.
and it would have been fine.
It would have been wonderful. Yeah, yeah. But to your point, Gerri, about I don't have a problem with all of the new sports. I mean, things evolve. I'm glad our athletes now wear clothes, because apparently back in the day, maybe they didn't wear clothes.
They did
I don't
not. You know, the first
go
wrestling, way back, those first Olympics, the wrestlers were all nude men. So, you know, wrestling back in the day, or modern day women's volleyball. I mean, they all have their draws.
Well, I asked my husband that the other night. We had watched the men's gymnastics, and then the next night we watched the women's gymnastics, and I was like, why do the men get to wear pants and shorts, and the women have to have a thing going up the backside? I just don't understand why is there a disparity between the outfit?
Are you advocating that for the men now, Stacy?
Uniforms. There is less budget for the women's uniforms
It's all the
than
sequins.
there is
Oh,
for
goodness.
the men. That budget goes towards sequins and rhinestones.
I know what Stacy really wants. She wants to return to the nude men wrestlers. That's what she's after.
No.
Well, haven't times changed, though?
They have.
I personally also was not offended by the opening. This was the first time that opening ceremonies took place outside of the venue.
Yes.
To come down the river. I thought it was a stroke of genius to be able to allow more people than would fit inside the venue.
Yes.
It made it more inclusive instead of exclusive.
Although we could have done without some of the inclusiveness, but we can be inclusive without being inclusive.
It was just so much of it. Celine Dion, after 4 years,
amazing
of not
Celine
being
Dion.
there.
Whoa, yes,
what an example of a comeback and
a tremendous
so many
athlete
things.
right there.
Yes.
Vocal athlete, as Kelly Clarkson called her.
My little take is very, very brief. I love Greek mythology. I studied a lot of it as a student in school. Bacchanal is a big deal. Fertility, wine, revelry. It was a party, and I think that's where Paris was headed. This was a party. I did not see 12 disciples and Jesus. There weren't even that many people on the stand.
I don't remember a blue man in the middle of the table of the Last Supper,
But let's go back to the torchbearers. Who would have ever thought that a gangster rapper, who's now a grandpa, Snoop Dogg, would be carrying a torch at the Olympics? How about the very first paraplegic to walk the torch in with the help of that mechanical exoskeleton?
And the eldest living French athlete.
Oh my goodness.
That was pretty
Just
cool.
so many things I thought were amazing. I'm okay with surfing, skateboarding, climbing, and karate. Yeah. They also brought back baseball this year. Hello.
Awesome. I like baseball.
My favorites, I'm always about the gymnastics, both men's and women's.
I could do without the NFL in the basketball.
Oh, so many things were just, I think it has been a real attention grabber. I think a lot of people are paying attention. Not as much chatter, though, as I have heard in previous years when you've been out and about. People aren't automatically going, oh my gosh, did you see the Olympics last night?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's all on social media now.
Yeah, that's the technology part. People can live stream it later or
When it's
watch
not prime
the
time,
little
we can watch it
blitz.
anytime we
Yeah.
want.
I
Exactly.
have a question for you two Olympics experts
Can you make it
here.
quick? We got to go.
Yes. Are the athletes motivated primarily by bringing pride to their country and patriotism, or personal self-aggrandizement?
Oh my, I don't think we have time for that answer.
Probably a
I'm gonna
little of both.
You answered that for yourselves as you're listening to this, and we are going to go to break. When we come back, we'll have our final thoughts. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, Brian Watts here from 102.7 FM, and you asked for it, and we're doing it. 102.7 FM will be broadcasting Kearney home softball games this year, along with our popular football game broadcasts. Our Bulldog sports broadcasts are ranked among our highest listening audiences. Our broadcasts have a variety of sponsorship opportunities to increase your business exposure across this great audience, and we are the best value for your advertising budget. You can secure your sponsorship today by contacting me at 816-826-1111. Let's get you involved with the Bulldog Radio Network this season and get your message heard on game night.
And welcome back. My final thought is to remind everyone that coming up on Saturday, August 24th, is the Kearney Enrichment Council, their whiskey walk. Thank goodness it's a walk. Anyway, it is from 5 to 7. Tickets are $45 a piece. There are 8 different places where you will go to taste some whiskey, and I will tell you that the Kearney Historic Museum will be one of them, and they will be hosting the VIP taste.
Oh,
so be
okay.
sure you check it out.
There you go. Awesome. Rich, what have you got?
I'm going to reiterate as my final thought what
Okay.
I already brought up. For a source of information, contact the First Federated Republican Women's Club of Clay County. Quickest way is simply call Natalie Scholl at 816-590-9479.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Well, you may have heard some rumblings around town that there may not be an Oktoberfest this year. So I wanted to dispel the myth. There will be an Oktoberfest. Yay! It will be October 12th at Lions Park from noon to 5 p.m. The Kearney Enrichment Council, Kearney Chamber, City of Kearney, the Knights of Columbus have all partnered together to bring you this highly anticipated event. We cannot wait to put this together. There'll still be the farmers market in the morning. There's going to be an after party afterward with details to come on that. So we are still getting everything planned, but we're about to release all of that to you soon. Be watching the Visit Kearney mobile app for all of those details. I think that brings us to the conclusion of our time together. It has been a joy to be with you, Rich and
Thank
Gerri.
you.
Thank you very much. Brian, thanks for being at the helm. Lynn and Jim, wherever you are in the world, hello to you. And we hope to see you, our listeners, back here possibly next week. We'll see who's available. We will keep you posted. And thanks for watching. Have a great evening.